Well, welcome. It is Monday, July 7th. And yeah, just another week. I guess this is kind of the first, or no, I guess the second week really, of the month. We had our monthly closure. So, looking at Bitcoin first, our monthly closure closed green, or rather, open flat, but open green really. Still looking for this extension, right? This extension on the monthly shows us, like, on the very, very high times frame, monthly, quarterly are all green, right? Everything is green. Everything above weekly is green. Once we go down, it gets a little bit more red, right? More bearish on the short term, where we see, this first weekly candle come in, right? We did not take the weekly low. We have a previous week high and low open on the week, right? Now, the question is whether or not this week can close above the balance of the previous week. Currently, we are above. So this week, bullish, still bullish. Bullish here. We've had three drives up on the monthly, right? Again, so high time frame, bearish, right? Bitcoin is topping out on the high time frame, but shorter time frame, meaning like the weekly and below, bullish, right? So with that regard, if we close the week right we are now, we're already in a bullish scenario, right? Just on a pure market dynamics of CRT here, right? Now, if we go down to the daily, we do have liquidity to the downside. Daily does show red, which in this case, we didn't take the highs first, which is actually good. This is the bullish case. Honestly, this is the bullish case. And my orange line still is my trajectory that I'm expecting. But to get there, it might do a little, mumbo jumbo kind of thing here, right? Where we're gonna probably see some sort of Tuesday low of the week again. Every single week has been the same exact thing. We open red. We usually have a pump over the weekend, which we did, right? We had a Sunday pump. And then we open red on the weekday, right? Monday, we do have a weekly range that's red, and that's true. Now, what does that mean? That means that we're building liquidity to the downside, which means that if we take the downside first, right? We take this downside first. This is actually the bullish bias, right? So I want to see more blood going into Tuesday on Bitcoin specifically, right? We do some sort of, mumbo jumbo down here to 106,520, right? We got to basically somewhere around here, right? Then any sort of consolidation from that range roughly into Tuesday, right? Tuesday is our day where we should see our lows for the week, and the same thing will happen. We take the highs the later the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Expect Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to be bullish. From there, though, that's where it gets a little interesting, because that's where the daily candle of those days will end up being red but open flat, remember? Because we actually would have opened Tuesday flat because we would have taken the lows. So with that case, this extension that we're about to see is going to be a manipulation push. So it's going to happen fast still. I've been hunting this for, I don't know, God knows how long, but there will be an extension. This extension happens, and when it does happen, it'll just be very, very fast. And I expect the actual closure of the week, whether it's this week or next week, looking like it might be this week, maybe. We'll see. But when it does, really the key point here is whether or not we can close above 110. 110 is kind of like the magic number here, because 110 has the incredibly high amount of equal highs. Both of them, like two sets of them on the daily, and then we have a flat on the low time frame at 111 as well. So really, at this case, it's a matter of whether or not we can consolidate above 110 after we take it. So just playing dynamics here, it's not too simple. It's not too difficult, right? We know it's going to go up probably later in the week, but for now, we want to stay waiting. We want to stay patient. We want to make sure that we do the right thing at the right time. So let's move on. USDTD real quick. We'll do that one. So same thing here, right? I did have a possible trajectory leading us up above 5%. So a little bit more pain coming up, right? A little bit more pain. But same thing applies, right? The same thing applies. Look at this, right? These are high time frame draws I've had open for months. I've had these open since May, really. I've been looking for these lows because we have an incredibly strong low right at 420, jokingly, 4.19. This low has not been taken from the range at all. Oops, I just pressed the wrong button yet again. Let me switch that over. This low has not been taken at all, right? This is both a daily open and I think a weekly open gap, right? A daily and a weekly. So very, very strong level of confluence down there at 420. So really what I want to see on this range is this play out, right? We have three taps of this range. We have 1, 2, 3 on this range. I want to see the retest of the bearish OTE for this range, which is the short range, right? Somewhere in above 5%, somewhere above 5%. Once we get above 5%, so 4.95, that is when we can look to either long or add to our longs. If you're in a long already, add to your longs and then hold because we already tapped this. We have a very clear invalidation. If we want to invalidate against 5.17, that's very clear invalidation from there. If you want to stop out or whatever, that's fine too. But I'm absolutely insane, and right now I am playing without stop losses. So if you've been following me, yes, I do have some craziness going on, but it is definitely high conviction here, and I'll get to that in a minute as well. So with this, we want to see some reaction into Tuesday, right? Some reaction into Tuesday. It might not even go that high, honestly. I have 5%, but we'll see. Well, I mean, honestly, it could go that high, but it could just do like 4.8 and then reject, or it could just do 5. In both cases, I want to make sure that we're positioned accordingly, right? We didn't take a third high on this, so I'd almost expect 5% to be tapped. But after that, it's clear skies. It really is. I mean, we're almost out of this, total BS stuff right now. But 4.2 is still there. And then once we get 4.2, if we can't bounce from 4.2, really, it's even if we consolidate, we have open monthlies down here at 3.7. So we're going to have a pretty substantial bull run right around the corner before we start to see some more real heavy pain after that. Real heavy pain comes in later, I think, to 7%, but that'll be later in the year. So with that said, let's look at ETH, and then let's jump into some of the coins you guys have been requesting. I drew up ETH a while ago. Looks like it's already pathing since June. I had this up since June. It's been pathing as expected. There's 2 range highs here. I do not like this. I do not like this structure. Yet again, it is incredibly noisy. We have a weekly open IRL, and then we also have a weekly open IRL below us. We do not have a third tap on this range. We are basically running this. This is, for those of you who trade patterns, this is like an expanding funnel, right? This is kind of like one of those things that I also like to call a seek and destroy. It's a seek and destroy model. Basically, what price is trying to do is it's seeing all the liquidity built up here, and it's seeing all the liquidity built up here on both sides, and effectively, it's going to try and take out both. It's going to try and take out both. So really, whatever side it goes to first, you play the rejection or a reversal against. I would not long or short Ethereum where we are right now. This is not a good spot. So I would either wait till we go a little higher, possibly up to 3K. This is a little outdated, honestly. I think this rejection could probably be a little bit more closer to something like this if we do that. But I do want to see this basically this expanded funnel or seek and destroy model play out a little bit more. However, again, it goes down to weekly closures, right? Same thing. If we cannot manipulate to the reverse on each side, then we're going to be flipping 2.6, right, on the weekly. So this is, again, not a place I would long. The better long here on Ethereum would be after we break this range, where we break 2.8 and then reject. You could short from here. This is a pretty good short, right? But once we bounce back down here, this would actually be the good long, because even if we consolidate, you might get a little bit of a bounce from that level at 2.6, but from there, really, it could also just go back and take your stop loss break even. But that's much later. Again, Ethereum looks ugly here. I wouldn't touch it. So I don't know why I'm wasting my time with this right now. Let's look at a few other coins. We got ATA and Hype. Okay, I'll go in order of requests here from chat. So ATA, I have never looked at this one. Interesting. What do we got here? What do we got? Pretty cool high time frame structure. Actually, yeah, that's pretty interesting. We have like one monthly open all the way, monthly IRL all the way up there. That's kind of cool. What else do we have? Weeklies. We got a couple weeklies up here. I'll just mark them out real quick. Untapped weeklies up here. And then we have back in range, we have two range lows. We have one range low there. That's actually followed by two taps. So we actually already have a pretty good structure already. So now it's a matter of whether or not we can close back above this on the weekly. Now this weekly draw here, where does this look like? We do have a high there, we have an open gap, and then we have three drives down. This is pretty good. So far, so good. I'm seeing some things I like. This flat is not very good, but we'll get to that in a second. We got some lows. We got some, what else? That's really it. The weekly, let's go back down to the daily. We got open, another one open up here on the daily. So that's a pretty strong level of confluence right at basically right under like 10 cents. That's pretty good right there. And then so if we're looking at this from the perspective of the low time frame, let's see, we got one range there. Let's just check this range mapping right here, right? So we have one there, and then we have one going to the other side, assuming this is the low, right? Assuming this is the low, I'll map out both ranges here, and then assuming we don't market structure break, this is actually, this daily is one daily SMR, so this is going to have a little bit of trouble to break through here on the daily. But let's look through some of the lower time frames again. Right, yeah, so consolidation really. This is going to be a little tricky here. So really what I would say is you want to look for already rejected. Oh, this already rejected. 4 hour, let's see. Yeah, this is a little, I don't know, it's a little iffy here. We already confirmed the bearish OTEs from this range. We have pretty smooth liquidity right all the way through. So honestly, we could do a push up here. We could push up just a little bit. But then after that, consolidation is going to end up bringing us like down to like 4 or 3 possibly. And then after that, I would probably expect the real move to happen. So yeah, this is just a rough idea here, but really what we want to see here is either I'm going to make, this is the danger zone right now. If we can't close hourlies above 2.7, right, this hourly, which we're already below, we could make one push up, but I would still be bearish here. I would still be just a little tad bearish here, only for the expectation that we're going to be sweeping the low at 4, somewhere around here, probably like teal. That would be where I'd be interested in longs, so somewhere around here. Put that in teal. That would be a good long zone, personally, and then I'd probably take that back up to 6 cents. That would be a great spot. But until then, this range, this is a pretty high time frame SMR, very well defended to the bearish side. This range right here is actually very bearish, right? So assuming we aren't able to break above yellow, then I would continue to be bearish on the low time frame here. So hopefully that helps you for ATA. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, and yes, hello, Wheelie. Good to see you guys. I know I'm seeing some faces. Wheelie, Bravo, Taz, obviously, yes. Savage Crypto, welcome. And Two Toke Lefty, welcome, obviously. I didn't see who was here originally, but now I do. So what else are we looking at? Hype. So the hype train, I think the hype train is coming to an end. The hype train is coming to an end, sadly. I still have limits. I still have one limit open up here. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has not been completed. And if I was to clean up the actual EW here, I'm going to just clean this up a little bit. You'll notice that all we did here was we completely rebalanced the structure. So we have yellow. I'll clean up some of the yellows here. There's too many yellows. I'll delete that. So we have yellow there. Look, there's relative equal highs right there, right? And then we have relative equal lows right there. Almost perfect, right? We have a low right there, and then a low right here. This structure has liquidity built up on both sides, right? So in terms of liquidity being bias neutral, we already tapped our bearish range here. So the same thing applies where the expectation is if we were to sweep this high, right, which I'm expecting an impulse, I am expecting a bullish impulse. If we sweep this high on a bullish impulse, we'd be clearing out both these equal highs of liquidity and any other further levels of liquidity up here. So really, this would be the perfect short, and I have this limit already set. So if we do impulse, I get filled, and I will then add to it heavily if we start to consolidate and then go under 41 and then 40. Once we do that, we got to zoom out, guys, because this is the second drive of this range. In order for this hype to be bullish again, it's going to need to go back under 28. So I'm going to ride this short all the way back down to under 28, basically. High time frame after that, hype is very bullish because once we get back down under 28, I want to see some consolidation because really what we'd end up seeing is the same thing, right? We'd see a sweep, market maker buy model build out, and then our next extension goes to like upwards of 80 to 100. But for now, I am bearish on hype. Once we get this range cleared, I want to see this range cleared. I want to see an impulse to the high. Once we see the impulse to the high, then we will start adding to a short and then swinging that short basically all the way down through the rest of the year. To be honest, all the way down to under 28, probably 20 to 19. And then after that, then I'll look to long. So hopefully that helps you on hype. So I will keep going. Let's see, requests. Got a lot of requests. Yes, so coins. Oh yeah, Bravo. You have a lot of coins on your list. I'm going to come back to you, Bravo, since you have like, what is it, 5, 6, 7 coins there? 6 coins. XCH, Casper, and Supra, XRP. Okay, so I'm going to see how fast I can get through all of these because all of these are pretty good requests. I'll do XRP because I love this. XRP is really easy. It's really simple. Really simple. It's going to do a whole lot of nothing for a long time. Whole lot of nothing, right? Whole lot of nothing. Technically speaking, and I think I mentioned this to you guys before, the quarterly is green. It is green. Now, with that said, a closure on the quarterly right where we are now, if we were to just not move in price and consolidate right here for 2 months straight, 3 months straight, pretty much even, this would actually manipulate the highs first. But, big but here, big but. This never touched our bullish range on the quarterly. So, if we are to manipulate the highs on XRP, just food for thought here, guys. In order to have healthy, long-term bullish price action, you need to have healthy, long-term levels hit. And XRP never hit its healthy, long-term bullish levels. So for me, I am not touching XRP with a 10-foot pole because of that alone. I was looking at it from the perspective of the quarterly before, and you could play it in terms of manipulation here because the manipulation, the impulse that I'm seeing across the board is pretty solid. However, one of the things to note here is this impulse that we'll probably see will basically be the highs for XRP for a very, very long time. So if you want to take it, only take it on spot because I would not take it in futures at all because we could still go all the way back down to under $1 before this continues to be bullish again. So this range, I tried it in futures, absolutely terrible. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole again. Not going to touch it with spot, period, end of sentence. Even here, right? Even here, you just do the math, right, guys? This structure, even on a manipulation of the impulse, is not going to take us very far. This is like what? 180%. Great. 180%. That's crypto on a Tuesday. Come on. So this is nothing. Don't do XRP, please. Do not do XRP. I know you can hate me. It could be I could be whatever. It doesn't matter. Just don't waste your time with it, please. It's not. It might make again. It might make that push up, but it's gonna top out. It's gonna top out, and then if you're not selling, and if you're not selling quick enough, you're gonna be the one left holding the bag. So hopefully, just keep it known for that. So on the flip side, XCH structurally, XCH has had. This is another request that Taz just put in as well. Um, this is one of those coins that no one's talking about. Everyone is just like doesn't care about, but except for me. This is my top pick coin. If I was to just kind of full port one coin, this would be it. We are in a monthly and a weekly accumulation zone with a high time frame SMR here, where we cleared three, not one, not two, not yeah, not two, three weekly lows, right? Three monthly lows, right? So as soon as we flip $11 on the monthly here, then the upside potential in this structure brings us to a new all-time high. This is almost 1,000% from where it is right now. So you do the math. What's better, 120 on XRP or 1,000 on XTH, right? It's kind of obvious to me if you know how to do math, right? So if you don't, then I don't know why you're here. So let's talk about this real quick. When we're looking at XTH, I kind of looked at it from the perspective of this original liquidity that was all smooth liquidity all the way down here. And it took that. Everything here was taken, right? In the past few weeks, I've actually had this long still. I have not closed it. I'm still in it. I have a conviction on it. There's nothing wrong with it. It has not invalidated for me. We do have one relative equal low, right at 8.9. And this structure here could be conceived as one of two things. It could be a relative equal, or it could be a higher low, because technically it is a higher low. It's printed as a higher low. Now, if we talk about our internal range on the daily from this daily right now had three drives, which is incredibly bullish on the range. We took liquidity to the downside at 9.17, and now we're consolidating above the bullish bias. This is healthy bullish price action, guys. This is the type of price action that we want to see that will give us incredibly long-term gains, right? So this is exactly the kind of structure that I'm seeing. Even if we sweep just a little, I don't care at this point. Like even if we sweep just like a tiny bit lower, even if we sweep 9, I'm bullish. If we sweep 8.8, I'm bullish. Because at this point, this SMR is going to hold, right? And all that's going to happen is this is going to be a monthly higher low. So even if we consolidate here in the monthly, this is going to end up flipping 10, then flipping 11, and then literally it's going to go seek all-time highs, right? So there's no reason to invalidate this structure just yet. Going to keep holding on to this. If anything, I might even add to it over the course of the week, maybe on Tuesday. This is going to be an amazing one. So hopefully you're in this one as well. I'll do Casper. And then I'm going to do a couple others. This is another good pick as well. I think Brett went over this a million times with you guys. I think by now I lost track of count here. But really, we had a re-range. I think my chart is so ridiculously crazy here. I'm going to just clean up everything, right? Everything here. So here's the thing, right? I'll put something down for you guys. We have, this is the exact signature. This is almost the exact signature that Bitcoin had right here. This accumulation right here that we're seeing is the exact signature that Bitcoin had when it was at $10. I'll let that sink in, right? This signature where we had 4 drives down, an accumulation, a break above range with a weekly gap. I'll pull it up later if we have time. But really, everything, this is basically showing the exact same pattern that Bitcoin had when it was at $10, right? So when we're talking about it in perspective of that, right, what we want to see on this weekly is we want to see this weekly hold, right, from here. We could make another low, but I wouldn't expect this low to be broken at this point. 007, very clean invalidation. Also, this one, This one technically could be broken and still be bullish because really the wicks do the damage. The weekly and the monthly will tell the story. Um, so here, right, this monthly here, this is a monthly gap we just built out. Same thing. This will be if we open flat and consolidate on this month, which I expect us to impulse soon, right? This month will either do one of two things. It'll turn green and then invalidate this and flip it, or we'll open flat and then this order block will be the one that we end up supporting, right? So we open flat on the next month. Basically, the goal is we want to consolidate above 001 and hold, because once we flip 001, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to be seeking this external liquidity right up here and then this internal liquidity up here, right? And effectively, what's going to happen here is we're going to be flipping this range and basically doing something like this, right? All the way up to 003, basically slicing through all of this, possibly doing a re-range retest, right? But then after that, we would have been in the new range already, so we're confirming it, right? And then from there, it's just, smooth sailing, right? Smooth sailing. So it's going to take a little bit of time. I'm holding long. It doesn't matter to me. I will keep holding. This is going to good time to hold, right? So that's Casper. Same thing with Move. I have this. Someone just requested Move. Incredibly bullish on Move. I really think this is the all-time low. All-time low is probably in. It might not be based on the weekly closure, but it's very friggin' close. We want to see this weekly. In fact, actually, I think I drew this up. Yeah, I drew this up in June, right? I drew this up in June, right when we saw this weekly. As you can see, I'm not making this up. I literally had this line on the chart before we even pulled this chart up. So really what I want to see here is I want to see this re-range into 3-1, right? Into 3-1 here. 13-4-1 really. Once we re-range into 13-4-1, we break and consolidate above. That will confirm that this is the all-time low for Move. All-time low, guys, right? These are coins that we are looking for, that we can just really get huge returns on. And assuming this breaks into the new range and then consolidates above 20, this is going to end up turning into a market maker buy model, guys, on the monthly. So same thing here. Very bullish. Will give us plenty of opportunities to long this over the course of the next few years, and we'll target those highs above $1, right? Considering it's only like what 15 cents now, roughly. So yeah, very bullish here. I'll probably make a call out on this one when the time comes. But for now, I'm just waiting. I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling. We got to chill. We'll wait till it gets to our level. We want to see that consolidation in our levels. Then we'll start building our position from there. Cool. So let's go from there. What else? We got some other requests. Going through chat real quick. Oh yeah. So there's Mavia. Yep, Mavia is a good one. KeyCat. I haven't looked at KeyCat for a bit. I think I looked at that briefly. Is that only? Looks like it's only spot, right? KeyCat. Gerardo. Oh, this is definitely out of date. Okay, so I'm gonna clean this up. That's garbage. Interesting. So for KeyCat, this is a little weird. Yeah, this chart's a little weird. We basically broke below. What do we even have here? I don't even see. What is this? There's nothing to anchor on here. We got equal lows down there. This chart's pretty ugly, I'll admit. I'm sorry. This chart's pretty ugly. We got 2 drives to the high. This is actually pretty bearish right here already. If we see an impulse, if we see an impulse on the weekly, this is one of those things that I would see as like, you see this here, when I say history repeats itself, right? You see that wick, right? I'll do something real quick, just so you see what I mean, right? This is kind of what I'm getting at here. I don't think this is going to be something that lasts us. I always keep forgetting where that, where the ghost feed is. Well, ghost feed. I always forget where it is. I'm sorry. Ghost feed, bars projection. Here we go. Right here. Right? So something like that, right? Something like that, roughly. where we basically just do the same thing, right? And I'll make this a little lighter, right? We do the same thing where we wick up really heavily, but this range holds, this SMR holds on the high time frame, on the weekly, on the daily, right? We want to see something like that. This looks like a washing machine, guys. I'll admit, something like this. We wick up and then just go right back down, take those lows. Structurally, this has nothing. This has nothing to work with. We have smooth liquidities all the way down, no SMR. We're actually below bullish range here. We're in bullish range on the daily, but like the high time frame doesn't have anything to make up for it. So yeah, my prediction here: wick up, and you better have limits if you're selling, because this is going to be a very fast wick. So key cat, that's not a good one to be trading personally. I wouldn't do this one, but whiff, I'll do whiff. Let's do whiff here. Awesome. Whiff I had a while ago, and this actually is holding its bullish range. It does have something to work with here. So whiff does have a little bit of structure here to work with. We do have a range low. Now, we did break above, and it is supporting. This is supporting this range flip. So we did have 1, 2, 3. This is actually pretty good. This is actually pretty good. Next open is all the way up here. So I'll mark that in green. That's the range low. That's the range high. What do we got? It's still looking like orange is going to play out. Yeah, this is decent. Yeah, fast wick up, guys. I'm seeing this across the board, right? We're going to have this basically be a fast wick up, possibly retrace into Tuesday, right? A little bit more retrace into Tuesday. This range is still not complete on the 8-hour, but then once we complete it and then close, right? We close above 84 cents, which we're already above right now. If we close it above on Wednesday, then it's going to seek internal. So internal is going to be all the way up at like 165, but this structure is a little better because we not only have 165, we also have 2 up here, right? 2, and then even up here, right? We even have some up here too. So this is going to be a little bit more of a nice impulse we could see on whiff that's going to be pushing us really hard, fast. But we got to make these closures first in order for that to happen. Otherwise, it's gonna stall out. But this is the weekly, right? So, sorry, it'll be on the weekly. It might be this week or next week, roughly. This week or next week, because this weekly hasn't closed yet and we haven't taken the low. So we need to still rebalance above 84 cents. So yes, it's either 1 or 2 weeks from now. 1 or 2 weeks. What else we got? Casper, Star, SCH, Mavia. What do you think of buying Casper? STRK. I'll do STRK real quick. This is another very top pick of mine. Same thing here. This structure absolutely bottomed out, similar to Move. This could confirm the all-time low on the daily based on where we close on the weekly, right? The same thing happens here. It's already pathing my yellow as expected. It's dipped a little bit further than I would have liked, but we are still, basically you could go as far as like here and still be bullish, right? Anywhere under 10 cents and still be bullish, even if we do something like this, right? This yellow is a little bit, here, let me make this like a little bit more accurate. This just took a little longer than I expected, but same bias really, where we want to see some sort of push down, possibly into Tuesday, right? This might be a great pickup actually if we actually see more of a push down into Tuesday, because actually maybe I should do that. I'm going to do a less than. I'm actually set an alert for myself, assuming I have some margin, because I've been full porting XCH at this point. So let's do a 1 hour. We want to break that low, so I'll do a 1 hour less than STRK, OTE long, right? And then from there, I want to see this range low broken under 10, a reconsolidation here. We get a reconsolidation, and it will then seek the next internal, which is roughly 14 cents, right? 14 cents. We do that, and then we have our weekly. We close anywhere above 10 cents, anywhere above here, anywhere above here. This is the all-time low, guys, period. End of sentence, right? This is our high time from SMR right here. Anywhere above 10 cents on the next week or 2 weeks, this is the all-time low. SGRK is not going any lower for our lifetimes. So same thing, if we're going to apply that same fractal, right? We then could take the retest, and the next internal would lead us possibly to 20 cents, maybe even 27 to 29. And then the same thing, history repeats itself, right? And then everything breaks and then retests again. Breaks and then retests. I could just do this all day, guys, weekly, right? Breaks and then retests. Bam. Simple. Easy peasy, right? And I'll leave that up for there. But this is alt season is starting. Again, I'm not calling it maybe not alt season, but really the cycle. It's not just one season. It's going to be an entire cycle, right? An entire cycle that's probably going to last roughly 3 years still, from what I was talking about it before. Okay, cool. Let's do a couple more requests here. Let's see. We got DGen. Why you guys ask me about DGen literally every single time? This is hilarious. This is like the fourth time you guys asked me about DGen. I literally wouldn't touch DGen. I told you guys last time, this is like not a good spot. This is not a good spot for DGen, because its range, it has a flat, even though it took the flat, like this is an unconfirmed range on the daily because we have a relative equal low right here that was not taken with a gap that's open on the daily. So structurally, I'd rather put my money elsewhere. This is a little bit more risky, right? This range is a little bit more risky to long. But I'll say if it does confirm, right, and we do close above 0.04, then I would be bullish on that, right? Only if we do daily closures on 0.04, because this would be a clean bounce all the way up to 0.16. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question as well. Okay, let's see. Layer. I'll keep going down the list here. Oops. Cool. I'll take a sip of water. Layer. What is this chart? Jeez. It's the most bearish chart I've seen in my life. Next to Bitcoin. I'm kidding. So layer, this weekly is bearish, 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 bearish. Look at that. Oh my goodness, guys. I wouldn't touch this either. This is not, yeah, this weekly is not going to go anywhere, guys. I mean, if you want to short it, sure. But like you're talking about a tiny move here. Very, very tiny move. Here's the thing. I will say that this would set up for a clean long if we keep pushing and then happen to close above 0.6, right? Happen to close above 0.6, 60 cents, then this would be a clean long to the high. But until then, I wouldn't touch this. I'll do this much. I'll put an alert for like the future, maybe like all the way in like end of mid July, right? This will be my orange. If I make a daily close above here on layer, then I'll say like that's layer bullish 1 day close. But until then, this is like this is not going anywhere. It's gonna just keep going down a little bit. So let's see. I have some questions here. Let me answer some of those questions. It's not going to be very free starting mid-August. What do you think about buying and just not looking? Okay, so buying CAT, CSPR, SGRK, XCH, and Mavia, not looking. Great if you're using spot. Wheelie, if you're using spot, great. As I said, high time frame, those coins are going to go far, right? So if you're using spot, I would just use spot, hold on to them. The structure, everything about the structure for the high time frame for those charts are like perfect. So even assuming you're not worried about getting like deleveraged or liquidated, use spot, hold on to it. Never just throw it in your wallet and forget about it. XCH, CSPR, those are my top picks. And then STRK, Mavia, also really good. Mavia, I'm running leverage in right now. Because we are consolidating quite nicely on the daily. We have this incredible daily, weekly, monthly consolidation. For those of you who trade, triangles, like look at this. How smooth is this? This is like a very hugely intense consolidation here, basically just tightening over sit for months, right? For months and months and months of tightening. Now, all it really needs, and honestly, like I'm still holding this long. This is just going to be a weekly and daily closure reversal. So same thing here. If you want to just buy this, hold on to its spot, nothing wrong with that. I think I'm a little early here, but I'm fine with holding for a few more weeks or days because if this is not the bottom, then I don't know what is, right? At that point, we could possibly go to like maybe 12.45, maybe bounce off this order block down here, right? But like after that, guys, there's like no turning back because once this starts uncurling, right, unfoiling this entire structure on the monthly, you're going to see something like this happen. The expansion is going to be like this. It's going to go straight up, literally no looking back because this is all smooth liquidity all the way up on the daily, all the way up to like $1, right? All smooth liquidity. So it's going to consolidate. It's going to basically like hold its range for like probably a couple days. And then you're going to see probably 1 week where we have a weekly candle that literally just goes straight up, right? So that's Mavia for you right now. And running this on leverage as well. So pure market dynamics here, everything checks out. Nothing is wrong with this at all. Everything looks amazing. I'll probably be right now my position's a little low. I want to add more to it if I can. I'd love to. This would be great because I'm going to hold this basically all the way for the entirety of that weekly and monthly expansion, basically to the previous SMR high, which is roughly around $2, right? So I want to see this green candle go like this, right? I want to go all the way up to the $2 mark, and then we'll be back in a range because literally that green candle is going to basically go like that, go straight up. It's not going to give anyone a chance to long. It's not going to give anyone entries. There's going to be no pullbacks whatsoever because this contraction is already almost played out completely on the daily and the weekly time frames. So once we do this expansion, it's going to tap this, and its retest is going to bring us possibly back down to 50 cents, but then that's it, right? It's going to keep going from there. So I want this expansion from here. I'm going to keep adding to it in the next few days, probably the next week, given the time permits. So hopefully that I would recommend leverage and spot. If you know how to run your leverage, I went a little too crazy, but if you know how to run your leverage, then just go for it, right? Go for it. Even low leverage is fine with this, right? Low leverage, zero stop loss, that's fine. Or if you want to risk anchor, you could risk anchor a stop loss on like the low. But I wouldn't actually stop out. I would stop out. If it makes a new low, then I would stop out because this kind of contraction should play out by basically making a higher low, right? We want to make a higher low, and then we want to have weekly closures above that range inside its internal range, right? So it's about a 15x. I mean, if you want to do a measured move here, let's take a quick look at this, right? This is a price range right here, current price to $2. I'll keep going. That's a 1,367% move, guys. So I'm giving you these guys ahead of time, clearly, but this is a 1,300% move. So hopefully you'll be good. And again, David, I know you're worried about funding fees, but when you're talking about, and I love someone I know who's in this channel right now, who's listening, and he knows who he is, has told me a fun fact. Worrying about funding fees for a trade like this is almost like going out, buying a Lamborghini, and then worrying about paying for gas, right? You just bought a Lamborghini, but then you're going to worry about paying for gas for like what, $30? But wait, you just dropped $250,000 on a Lambo, right? So what I'm saying is you're basically going to be making 1,300% return on this, and you're going to worry about paying for $30 in funding fees, right? Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it, David. Just don't worry about it. Yes, how long you have to hold the trade, exactly. But dude, remember, the ROI you're going to be getting is going to make up for the funding fees, right? And as I said, I expect this extension candle to basically give no pullbacks. So if you close the trade, you're not going to get another good entry. Your cost basis is going to need to be somewhere further up, right? It might do something like this where it does like a small consolidation, but it's basically going to go straight up for the most part, right? we might do like things where we do like tiny consolidation pullbacks, right? But in the end, this is going to be like a monthly candle that's going to basically extend very, very fast when it does. So that is Mavia. But enough about Mavia. Let's see what else we got. What else we got? Any other requests? Vader AI. I have about enough time for just a couple more here, and then and then I need to run Vader AI. I don't think I've seen this one. Maybe I have. Virtuals spot. Interesting. Vader. I don't think I've seen this. I don't think I've seen this one before. Oh yes, and then I'll do Sui as well. And then yes, Sui. Yes, I'll do Sui as well, David. Vader AI. This one's pretty straightforward. I'm gonna draw two lines on this chart, right? We got a weekly. I'm gonna draw two drawings. The first drawing, and possibly the second drawing right here. 1, 2, 3, and then possibly second drawing right here, right? So bullish. So this was bullish. This is bearish now. We flipped this weekly, bearish, right? We flipped this weekly already. We had 3 drives. This is now closed below, so this is now bearish. When we're seeing this on the daily, right? In order for price to reset, we got to go to orange, at the very least, right? Very least, possibly a little lower. We want to see a re-range from there. After that, then you could worry about going long, right? After that, you could worry about going long. But until then, simple, easy. It's going to go down. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's do Sui. So yeah, I had Sui marked up a few days ago. Actually, I did this in June, early June, right? Yeah, someone asked me about Sui before. Now, Sui is a weird one because we have structure that showed us 3 drives up already, right? We have 1, 2, 3 highs, right? We have 3 highs up. Now we're rebalancing on the below the discount of this range. So what leads me to believe with Sui's range is the fact that we are rebalanced lower and we invalidated this gap here. Really, we're still stuck. Price is still stuck here. We're not bullish, we're not bearish yet in either scenario, because not only do we invalidate this bullish gap, but now if we were to just measure between this, right? Just right between that. Look at this. This is just by a hairline, just by an absolute hairline. You see that orange line? Or I'll make this another different color. Maybe I'll make it teal. See teal? We almost closed above it on the daily. This is the 50% of the gap, right? This would be the bearish bias, or sorry, the bullish bias if we closed above. Right now we're in the bearish bias, right? So not only we are, and this purple is the 50% of the weekly, and this teal is the 50% of the daily. So we are basically hovered in the absolute neutral of the zone. Absolute neutral of the zone. So for me, I wouldn't long it, I wouldn't short it. But I will say this much. If we impulse the highs first, and I'll make these different colors, right? It's the same thing. I'm expecting an impulse to the highs, right? So even if we do take the highs with a structure that is going to happen to support it based on the macro conditions of the other things I mentioned during my stream, right? I'm going to draw this up. If we do support this structure, then I'll be honest, guys, this is what's going to plan out, where we are going to see the bearish retest of this range at 4.6, and then consolidation under that would mean that Sui is then, unless it can close above 4.3 and then consolidate, right? Sui is then going to go back to its lows again, right? So I'm going to put this in here, right? This is orange, right? So I'm going to leave these up on the chart. We can come back to them another day when you guys ask again. But for the main aspect of this is that we are expecting an impulse is fact 1, right? We're balanced on both the weekly and the daily here. It's fact 2. We have liquidity on both sides. We have open liquidity below, right? This is a weekly that's not touched, and then we have open liquidity above, right? We have not touched the 7-9 of the fib on the bearish high time frame, which would make us give us our third tap, right? We have No, we only have two. Well, really, we have one. But I would say this is still bearish either way. We could go as high as this and then reject two. It doesn't matter. I'm like indifferent on SUI for the most part. I wouldn't long it. I wouldn't short it here. It just doesn't make sense either way. If we break and close above, then I would say possibly long. But again, it's going to start hitting resistance again back above 4 point, excuse me, back above 4.3 to 4.6, which would make it a good short. Back down to 1.5 on the high time frame, somewhere between like 1.5 and then 1.15, right? Because this would then play out and then reset the weekly range structure to then have a new deviation before we see another new all-time high, right? But until then, I am neutral on SUI. Okay, that was yeah. So David, does that answer your question? Do you have questions? I'll give you a moment. Do you have a question in regard to that what I just explained? Cool. Thankfully, hopefully that helps. And then yeah, let's do 3.6. 3.6. Let's see. So you know what? I'll say this much, right? As I said, the macro conditions is supporting an impulse to the highs. So teal is likely to play out, right? Even though we're in discount now, we close below and we are expecting a high, an impulse to the high. This is going to be the manipulation push. I would almost expect 3.56 to be taken, right? But as soon as we do that, I would take your profits, move your stop loss to break even, and then be careful from there, right? Because we would basically need to break and mount 4-3 on the high time frame. Otherwise, red is going to play out, right? Red is going to play out, or orange is going to play out, right? One of the two, in that case, right? For what you're looking at there. Cool. So let's look at AVAX. Oh, I just realized you requested it. Oh, great. Tats. Okay. AVAX. Yet again, I drew this up June, right? June. Still expecting an impulse to the highs. Impulse to the highs bringing us to 30, roughly. Let's see, yeah, bring us to 30. And then that impulse will bring us to 28.30. Once we do bring us to 28.30, then I would actually expect AVAX to possibly go back down to $10 before seeing any meaningful push after that, right? Because this would end up being a lower high on the high time frame, and this is a monthly right there. So monthly internal from that range, right? So AVAX, going to be nice to see if we can get a short up there. Otherwise, I really same thing as Sui. Like it's the structure here is just kind of too balanced to go short on or to go long on because of the structure and to the lows. So I'm going to just hold with what I have instead of doing AVAX as well. What's the percent minimum move you expect for most of your setups? Oh, I usually try and aim for anywhere above 100 to 300% for most of the time. Anything below that is not really worth my time because I do spend a lot of time doing this. So I try and catch only things that are going to move 100 to 300% minimum. Anything below that, I just don't really care about. So I scalp sometimes, but that's pretty much it. Mudang as well. This structure is pretty good. We could reconsolidate here. Doesn't matter to me, but I was watching this as well. Same thing here, right? On this range, Mudang brings us about 200%, so that's pretty good from its range as well. And there's a few others I was watching as well. I think Myro. Myro is really good. Actually, Myro's range is really good because this is this is incredible. I don't know why I closed on my Myro. I need to add back into Myro because this is one of those coins that once we start moving from here on the high time frame, what'll end up happening is we're going to reconsolidate to the highs, market structure break, build into a 4-hour market maker buy, right? 4-hour, and I'll turn this into a lighter color here. 4-hour market maker buy, and then we close above 6.2 on the weekly. We'd be flipping this entire range, right? On the daily, what does that mean? Well, that means we're basically going back into its previous range all the way above 5 cents And then from there, if we can close above 5 cents on the weekly, even if we retest previous range low, it'll continue from this structure basically all the way up to new all-time highs. So I have Myro going up to possibly new all-time highs in the following years, right? Years. But we are very, very close to flipping this 4-hour and daily range. So it's a matter of whether or not we can get this weekly closure as well. Once we get this weekly closure extension, I could probably take it on the reconsolidation because, right, the same thing will happen, right? We have some sort of extension here, and then I want to see like a reconsolidation, right? Like that. So extension, reconsolidation, I'll probably take it somewhere around here and just basically keep adding to it every day. Keep adding to it every single day. You could keep your stop loss down here, that's fine. Or you can have no stop loss like me sometimes. But I position size accordingly based on that, right? So Myro, also want to get into, again, because its range is really, really, really good on the daily and the weekly. Same thing's going to happen, right? Same thing with Myro, right? We have these very, very smooth liquidity all the way through, right? All the way through, and then the extension that we'll probably see will be some sort of monthly candle that basically goes really, really far, really, really fast, right? It could be all the way up to 5 cents. It could be all the way to 9 cents. We do have open IRL at 9 cents, so I am tracking this as the first TP or like the first major ones at 9 cents. And that's been open since I actually caught Myro. For those of you who were with me, I caught Myro down here, and I made about like 7,000% from this move right here. Right about here. I think I closed it. It was a 200% move, but I made 7,000% on that one. Accounts are down a little bit from there, but I've taken some beatings. But overall, high time, as I like to say, high time frame always wins, right? So I trade high time frame. I like to win, so it's kind of obvious. That's kind of how we kind of want to go from there, right? So reconsolidation on Myro. I'll post this once I jump in again, but for now I'm gonna just chill because I'm like jacked to the teeth right now on longs because I'm expecting this manipulation. And then once we get this manipulation, then I'll start adding more, right? Because it'll confirm the deviation on both BTCD and others D, right? BTCD, same thing, right, guys? This is a weekly. We're about to close a weekly AMD, and right here we have third level. We tapped basically right into it, 079. This is a monthly and weekly deviation cycle we're playing out already. We already played out previous, right? We already played out previous. This is an SMR right here. So if we can hold this range and close below, we'll have an altcoin cycle. And I say cycle because it will last for 3 years, roughly. Again, I'm still sticking to this. Matter of just weekly closures every single week has been absolutely terrible. But hopefully one of these weeks will finally give me what I'm looking for here. So yeah, right now draws to the low, which is good on the weekly, right? We see that weekly draw right there, draws to the low. Once we get that weekly draw to the low, then we will rearrange and then consolidate and then go down heavy from there. So we need to go from there, right? So others, same thing with others.d. Same thing. We are in a weekly consolidation here, right? We have a doji. Basically, I would expect we did close above 7%. This is actually an amazing structure right now. I'd expect us to continue to range, but then as soon as we get some sort of closure above 717, right? This is going to happen where we break, right? Break this range and then continue. And this is going to confirm the all-time lows on others.d as well, right? We are very, very close to that. It's just not quite here yet. Awesome. Well, that's it for me. Hopefully you guys appreciated this, and I will be around. My DMs are always open. I'll post the recording on my YouTube. And yeah, stay green and happy trading. Catch y'all later.